A fool is right in his own eyes. Proverbs chapter 12, verse 15. I'm quoting the Bible here because the fool I'm about to talk about seems to want to use religion as a disguise for committing murder. I'm talking about Vallow Daybell. Who does that fool think she is fooling? She sat down with Keith Morrison of Dateline, and for much of the sit-down interview, didn't want to give him a straight answer. But she said something that I'm sure will come back to haunt her, perhaps very soon in her Arizona trial, when she characterized the deaths of the people in her life as tragedies. That's right, she said she had lots of tragedies in her life, that they were like dominoes all around her. Correction, Cult Mom, they were murders and attempted murders, not tragedies. These were planned, evil, criminal acts. What a shame that she didn't just tell the truth from the beginning. She wanted to go be with Mr. Doomsday, but neither of them had the courage to be honest about it with their spouses. That's the truth. So instead, people were murdered. It makes me sick, and I know it does you too. And especially sick because Lori has a lovely family. Lovely. They would have gladly raised her kids if she was no longer willing to do so herself. None of those innocent, wonderful people deserve to die. And now we're just going to have to brace ourselves as we get ready to hear what I'm sure will be more lies from Lori as she represents herself in her next murder trial. That's my opening statement. Let me know if you like it. Right now, it's time for your daily docket.
She spent the entire month after her husband of 20 years was slaughtered in their backyard, either with her lover, Robert Baker, or, as you heard, sending him naked photographs of herself or close-up photos of her intimate body parts.
So will defendant Monica Sementilli's lover, Robert Baker, testify today? Well, the state's case is expected to wrap up. We're told they're going to be resting probably today in the celebrity hairstylist murder trial. It's going to start up at 12:30 p.m. Eastern, and then we'll see if the defense calls Mr. Baker. In Michigan, we've got Dale Warner in court today. He's got a motions hearing. He's accused of murdering his wife, Dee Warner, and that case is going to begin at 11 a.m. Eastern time. And at 9 a.m., when Court TV Live begins, we have a very special interview with one of Dee's friends. And in New Hampshire, we've got the sentencing of Victor Rivera scheduled for 10 a.m. Eastern time today. Remember him? This guy was convicted of murdering his ex-girlfriend, Patricia Sweat, and her boyfriend, Matthew Champagne. So we're going to go live for that as well. Now, let's hit our top story. Counselor Cult Mom Vallow Daybell sitting down with Dateline's Keith Morrison for her first one-on-one interview, expressing no remorse for the murders of her children, JJ and Tylee, and pushing back when asked if she was there on the night they were killed.
Was
where? Alex in these places when they died? In the place where they died, were you there?
What place was that?
Did you watch?
What place was that? Do you have any idea?
I'm asking.
Well, I'm the only one that knows. Do you know? You're pretending like you know.
It doesn't matter. I'm not pretending I know. I'm asking you a question. Did you watch your children die?
That's a really sad question.
It's a terrible question, and it's one I hate to have to ask, but, I mean, we've been talking about all of these.
I was not there.
And Vallow Daybell is going to be in court tomorrow morning. There's a pretrial hearing for her because guess what? Her trial's coming up soon. March 31st is the day her case is going to go in Arizona. So tomorrow morning we'll be in the courtroom when all of the last-minute motions are brought up. So we will see what she says then. In the meantime, I want to welcome in a very special guest. He's been a tremendous advocate for Lori's kids, JJ and Tylee. He's their relative. Lori's uncle, Rex Connor, back on the program with us. Rex, good morning to you. I want to start, please, with just getting your reaction to the Dateline interview. What were you thinking as you were watching your niece talk with Keith Morrison?
I continually remind myself that Lori's interview here and Lori representing herself in court is a sideshow. And I try, of course, I'm emotionally involved. I try not to get overly emotionally involved because we're here for justice for Charles. Charles was murdered. He was taken away from us. We believe he was murdered. And this is for justice for his family, Kay and Larry, his sons, Zach and Cole, all the family members, for all of us, really, for Colby. So that's what I would like to stay focused on. My expectations of Lori are very low. And you can't get much lower than the evil she perpetrated. So I don't expect to get any satisfaction out of seeing her in the interview or representing herself.
That's so well said, Rex. You've been such a great champion for these victims and their rights and for justice for all of them. And when I was watching the interview, I remember there was a portion of it, and I thought, I can't wait to talk to Rex about this. It was where she was kind of giving Keith Morrison the runaround. You know, she was tap dancing around the questions, and he was saying she was sharing these convoluted stories. And he said at one point he wondered if we were seeing the real Lori. Did we see the real Lori?
I believe we did. Now, it's a very changed Lori from the one that I've known and loved her whole life. I don't want to say I don't love her still, obviously. I just can't endure what she has done. But her characteristics are the same. The darkness with which she lies and dances around, the darkness of what she perpetrated, that's not the same Lori, but the characteristics are the same.
Sure. I want to play another clip for you here. This is where she's talking about the future for her and for Chad, and she says it's a good one.
How could you possibly think that Chad would be exonerated after what happened?
The same way I will be exonerated. We will both be exonerated in the future.
Because?
I have seen things in the future that Jesus showed me when I was in heaven. And we were not in jail. And we were not in prison, and they were still in the future.
Rex, what do you think of that?
It disgusts me. We believe, I rarely talk representing our full family because we're so divided in so many ways, but most of us believe that she is where she needs to be for justice to be served in this life, and that she will continue to wake up in a miserable place, experiencing a miserable life for the rest of her miserable life.
Well said. Rex Connor, I know we're going to be talking with you a lot more in the days and weeks to come as we get ready for that March 31st trial date. Thank you for all of this. And I want to welcome in now to the conversation the prosecuting attorney in the city of Hampton, Virginia, our friend Anton Bell, back with us. Anton, I kept thinking as I was watching this, wow, all that Lori Vallow is giving in this interview is great for these prosecutors to take and use against her. Would you explain to us how it's done, and if there was anything you saw that really jumped out at you that you would throw back in her face if you were the one trying this case?
So, good morning, Julie. So when you're having a defendant or an accused make statements, any statement that they make that is against their interests can be used. It is hearsay evidence because it's an out-of-court statement by a declarant. However, one of the exceptions to it is if it's against their interests. Here, I would paint the picture that you're dealing with a dark, diabolical, manipulative person. She's very methodical concerning her evasiveness, concerning for instance, the clip you just played, whether she was even there when her children were killed. This is someone who you would think would try to portray herself as a grieving mother. Her 2 young children are dead. However, this is someone who is really trying to outsmart the interviewer, the reporter. And with I've done this for close to 30 years, and you always have those suspects who think that they're the smartest person in the room. Somehow, some way, they're going to give you answers that's going to outsmart your questions, and that they're going to evade you or somehow paint a picture that seems to be in their best interest. Here, I will play little snippets of her being very evasive and not answering any of the questions that were directly pointed towards her that would have called for a forceful yes or no.
Exactly. Anton, I've got one of those clips I think you would like. Let me play it for you next. Take a look.
Get your facts straight, Keith. Aren't appearances not what they might seem to be, Keith? Could you get your life story out in 90 minutes, Keith? How old are you, Keith? Keith, we can talk all day. I can talk all day. I don't have anything to do. You can extend your time. Come back. Come see me.
Anton, what do you see there as you watch her and how she responds?
I just see a manipulative person. I see a person who, to her, this is a game. This is a game, but she's playing checkers and they're playing chess. But I see someone who is trying to enjoy the spotlight. This is someone who comes across like this is something that I am enjoying. I'm enjoying this attention. I am enjoying the notoriety that I'm getting, particularly someone, note now, this is the same person who is asking for the court to deny the courts to allow cameras into the courthouse. Yet you go on national TV and do a national interview. You're playing games.
Right, Anton. So well said. And Rex, let me ask you about that before we have to let you go. You know, she wants to do the sit-down interview with Dateline and talk and try to control the interview and all of that. But yet we know that one of the motions we may see brought up tomorrow morning is that she doesn't want cameras to film her trial. So she's like a contradiction, isn't she? She seems to want the attention and the spotlight, but yet she wants them out of the trial. What do you think of that?
I don't know what to think of that in particular. I don't know what's in her heart and in her mind, and I wish, just like I don't know why she wouldn't just declare herself guilty and spare her son Colby and everyone this sideshow.
Yeah, it is a sideshow. It sure is. Rex, thank you so much for weighing in on this, sharing your reactions. I know this isn't easy for you, for Adam, you know, your nephew and also co-host of your podcast, Silver Linings. And you both have just done such a remarkable job navigating this tragedy. Thank you for everything. We'll talk again soon.
Thank you, Julie, and thank you and Court TV for covering this case and bringing us all together in a united front to get justice for these victims.
Oh, we appreciate that. Thank you.